Huh?
There you are. Okay.
Can you see me good?
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Oh, fuck. I gotta take this thing out of the way. Hold on. I got the recorder thing all jacked up.
You good? You good? Take your time
Uh,
now. Take your time.
Take your time, man. You chilling out in your hammock?
Yeah, man, it's feeling amazing out here today. We just got back from the fucking from the dog park and shit.
Train old Bailey Bear.
Yeah, man, she's doing amazing, man. Like really good. The goal is to be able to once she's done with everything, to be able to take her, pretty much anywhere because we go downtown a lot, to the bar or whatever like that without her like just going up to everybody because she's a puppy now, so she's in that really friendly stage. So it's a great thing. So she's got really good, uh, like she's happy. You know what I'm saying? So it's good. But the thing is, when we take her certain places, it's just always good if they kind of like chill too, or at least where you can like take them anywhere. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no man, for sure. I get really jealous when I see people with their dogs out, man, because I can't take Duke anywhere because he'd fucking just eat all the other dogs.
Yeah, Duke is
Yeah.
huge, right?
Yeah, dog, he's big, but I mean, besides being big, man, he's just animal aggressive, and he's been like that ever since he was a puppy, I mean, and I was a shitty owner. That's why he was like that, I mean, because I was I was such a piece of shit. I always left him home, and I neglected him and Zoe, and when I
Right.
got him is when I was, we'd just gotten back from Afghanistan like less than a year before then, and I was all jacked up, just running around with the club and shit. So I neglected the fuck out of him, man, and that let him become a lot like me. You know what I mean? Because you remember how I was, dog. I was always angry and irritable and shit like that, So I think that he kind of picked up on a lot of that. Yeah.
Most definitely, they could pick up on all kinds of shit like that. Did Duke go through like a training class too, or did you just, or like I'm saying, like at the beginning stages, or and then you eventually just started kind of going out and neglecting her, but at first she was like training and stuff.
No, yeah, no. I took him to a fucking little puppy thing, a little trainer when he was, really young and everything. But of course, um, I was just always running around being fucking stupid, so I didn't, stick up with it or keep up
Hmm.
with it. And yeah, man, I let them fucking do whatever the hell they want, and I, let them tear up the house, and I'd get home and be pissed off at them, and you know what I mean. I would just that was it for a while, dog. I was such a shitty owner. You know what I mean?
Right, right. I definitely feel you, man. Definitely doing this now and going out throughout the day. It gives me a lot to do besides everything else that I got going on. So it really does kind of keep me on track with getting out of the house and stuff. I was looking at your other video and I know what you were saying where you couldn't wait for your kids to get old enough where you can kind of just pop out and be outside and do whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's a great feeling.
Yeah, no, I get super jealous, man, because when you guys are always out, I always get super mad. Like, man, I can't wait till I don't have two little human beings that I have to get rid. Well, like, till they can just do shit with me, man. Because as soon as I'm able to tell them, hey, go upstairs, get dressed, put something in your fucking face, and we're gonna go out and we're gonna fucking, go to the beach or climb this hill or, go walk. I just can't wait to be able to do that, because that's like I am gonna wear my fucking kids out.
I
I really
bet,
am.
man. How do you
Yeah.
feel about baby number three coming out? Are you stressing at all or not really?
You know what, man? I mean, of course you stress, but I almost have to tell myself to be stressed out about it now, because I don't know. I've dealt with so many other fucking things, personal life shit in your day-to-day life and in your mental health, and emotionally and shit. Like, I know I'm supposed to be way more concerned and stressed out, but I'm not, man. I'm really not. I'm more excited than anything, you know. So
Yeah.
it's,
I was gonna say that, man. I didn't get the like the whole stressful feeling from you, man. And I was kind of thinking like, damn, if I was in a position, I think I would be. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? The whole experience of it. Like you was talking to your buddy the last time, and I think he was asking you, on one of the podcasts you did with the experiences of like the intensity of building up, or is it everything that you imagined it was gonna be and all that shit? I thought that was pretty interesting, man. Just because I can only think of it. I don't have any kids, so
I'll tell you, man, it's exactly what I needed to go through, man, because I would not be where I'm at mentally, emotionally, spiritually, any of that shit if it wasn't for my kids. You know what I mean? And if it wasn't for the humility that comes along with not only being a stay-at-home parent of young kids, but being a dependent, so um, there's a lot of humility that comes with that, man, and when you kind of fucking get humbled by your kids and your kind of position, where you're a spouse and you have an active duty service member, you know, adding another child to me, in my experience, is just it's a good thing, you know what I mean? And yeah, it comes with a whole fuck ton of crazy challenges and fucking just stressful fucking and all that shit, man. But I'm not going to complain about all that bullshit because yeah, it sucks, but there's so many just other amazing aspects of being a parent than all the shitty things. You know what I mean? And
Totally.
people can get carried away with bitching and complaining about all the dumb shit, and that usually consumes them instead of fucking talking about all the positive shit that's really amazing. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be that guy where I just bitch and complain about all the crap, man. I'm way too proud and way too fucking grateful for all the things that I have. You know what I mean? So
That's what I was gonna say, man. Because that a lot of times you can be an emotional person, and obviously you have a big heart, so I can automatically see it coming natural to you as far as like when you have a kid and you have the ability to show your kid things and you can see yourself in the kid and all these things. I mean, I guess some people just look at it more as a I don't know, like I guess just more of a responsibility. Obviously, there's times where you're like, "Fuck, man," like you was mentioning last time. But I mean, to look into a kid's eyes or a child's eye and like see yourself and all the things that you're teaching your kid and how your kid's growing up, like right in front of your eyes, man. I mean, I only have a fucking dog, and I can like see and bro, like I'm telling you, it's so funny, man. It's like when Lee brought up getting Bailey and stuff, I was honestly just totally against it just because I was thinking of all the responsibilities of a puppy. I never had a dog or anything, but I was like, man, I don't really want to waste none of my time and the stuff that I have to do to, tend to like taking it out and doing all these things for it. But it's funny because at the end of the day, like the puppy ended up like blessing me with getting more out and stuff. I've always never really got out like that. I mean, I've always got out it, the weather and nature, and it feels good. Like with Bailey, it's kind of like I can imagine. Definitely not in the same comparison as kids, but you enjoy doing everything for your kids. It really, and then you see like, damn, you know what? I thought I had a big heart, but I really do because this ain't even a chore for me no more. It's like you love doing it for them. Versus some parents, I guess, it's just kind of like, damn, man.
well, you know what, man? I mean, I know a lot of fucking pretty great people that
Mm-hmm.
don't have kids, and I know some parents who are extremely fucking shitty people. So having a kid doesn't make you a good person, and just as not having kids doesn't mean you're not a good person. You know what I mean? And
Right.
having said that, the meaning that you can get from a pet, from an animal, is just as significant in some people's aspects, as having a child. I mean, I know people whose animals are more important to them than most people. You know,
Right.
so I don't like to say that having a kid is like some fucking, you know, uh, uh, just enlightening experience for everybody because it's not. But for me, it was, man. It literally changed my fucking life. you know, especially becoming the father of a daughter, completely, literally. Like I feel
And
when I try
she
to.
looks a lot like you. I'm not just saying that, bro, because how people are like, oh, she looks like she really. When I see when I see Abigail on the videos and stuff, I'll be like, man, bro, like it's just funny, man. Like for real, it's like,
No, you're
damn.
you're right, dog. Like and that's why I try so hard and I always am so proud about being a stay-at-home fucking dad. Because, so like all my heroes, all my personal heroes are fucking warriors, you know what I mean? Like dudes who, fucking have just gone through just amazing things on the battlefield. But, guys, even the guys I hold in my hero standard of, have they ever stayed home and take care of fucking babies? I bet you not. You know what I mean? And so many guys that we know in our lives have not done what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And that's why I always love fucking being able to look at your kid every motherfucking day and be like, holy shit, that little human being that I created does look exactly like and acts like me and is already like sucking in all the things about you, man. And it's like looking in a little fucking mirror. you know, and
Right.
it's awesome, man. And that's why I tell dudes all the time, man, like, don't let anyone try to fucking downgrade being a stay-at-home parent, you know, and not even guys, you know, but females, man. It's like, look, being a mom, especially a stay-at-home mom, especially a young stay-at-home mom, man, like, don't ever let anyone downplay the significance of what you do. You know what I mean? It's a because I know grown gangster ass fucking men, you know, dudes who I hold in high esteem that couldn't fucking stay home. You know what I mean? That couldn't take care of fucking me. That can't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's something beyond their fucking their realm of possibilities. You know what I mean? And even worse than that, how many fucking guys do you know that don't want to do that? You know what I mean? And which is even worse in
Totally.
my opinion, man, because I know a lot of guys who are selfish who wouldn't want to fucking stay home and with their kids, man. And as I don't know. That's way easier said than done because being a stay-at-home parent and wanting to is a huge fucking thing to really say, you know. But given the opportunity, wouldn't you say like, hey man, you can stay home with your fucking kids and watch them grow and do all these things, vice going out and spending all this time away from them? Wouldn't you fucking think that the answer, of course, would be yes? But I think in reality, it wouldn't be. You know what I mean? I think in reality, a lot of people would
Right.
say no. You know what I mean? So,
And that
but
and that's just yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I was kind of going along with what you're saying. That's just for a lot of times for because they don't want to give up themselves. Definitely like but I mean like again, it's like you would want to, you know, like want to be able to say there and stuff because like I don't know, man. Like in my on a quick note, in my personal experience, with just me being here with Lee and Bailey and stuff, man. I mean, I really just haven't had the urge to go out, like talking about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just really haven't. But the thing is, my mind really wants to. Like, it's like a friend hit me up, man, you want to go out for a couple of beers, not to stay out late or anything, you know, like, and Lee's totally like, yeah, if you want to, you know, can go out have a couple. But it's like, I really want to in my mind, but I don't feel like I want to. You know what I'm saying? So I end up, and that's crazy, but it's so true, man. It's like, fuck, man, I really want to, man. The idea of going out to have a couple beers and being around that scenery for a little bit would be pretty fucking dope. But then I ask myself, like, do you really want to though? And then it's kind of like what you say. So then don't, if you don't feel like, you know. But my mind wants to, man. It's crazy.
Well, what that means to me, man, is the way I have looked at so many things that I do in my day-to-day life. Literally, when I've been going through this whole transition process, I literally ask myself in everything I do, how is this helping me accomplish the goals that I have in my life? You know what I mean? How does everything that I do, including how does this benefit me and get me closer to who I want to be and the goals that I'm trying to achieve? You know what I mean? And when you
Right.
literally ask yourself every single fucking, you know, you ask yourself that question before everything you do, you start going like, holy fuck, hardly anything I do during the day helps me become the person I want to be or helps me get to the place that I want to get to. You know what I mean? And
Word.
when I started fucking asking myself that question, you know, through before everything I did, you really start developing habits that really benefit you and get you to where you want to go. You know, regardless of whatever goal that is, if it's a fitness goal, a career goal, whatever the fuck, when you really nail down everything you do throughout the day, how is this getting me? How is this getting there? How is this getting there? And you can fucking exit out all the bullshit. You start to fucking see, as you like to say, a lot more fucking fruits of your labor. You know what I mean? And it's hard though. It's way easier said than
It
done,
is.
honestly.
It is, you know, I mean, it is hard, but what I've been
Discipline.
learning about myself a lot more, bro, is really, you know, it's like what they say, it's like when you get things done and you feel like you're like getting shit done and you're kind of on the track, you know, it's like all the other stuff is like, man, you know, that really wasn't too important, but I've been holding on to it for like almost 30 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just living and learning. I get it, you know, but it's just funny, like when you be like, man, you know, like going back to when I was in school, man, I'm telling you, man, it sounds so funny, but I mean, when I was focused on like writing a paper of something I was interested in, or just getting things done, the feeling of knocking out tasks throughout the day, and I think you mentioned on one of the videos, and you were saying how like even if you wake up in the morning, right, and then you go work out, and if that's the only thing you do during that day, at least you feel like you actually did something rather than waking up and you know just laying around, and what that does when you lay around not saying there's not days for that, but when on majority of your life where you just wake up and kind of just like lay around, it's like, fuck, man, what really am I doing? Then you start to feel like shit too. You know what I'm saying? Then
Mhm.
everything just starts to happen. It's like you feel like shit inside. You're like, man, I'm not accomplishing anything. And I mean, and I guess a lot of times it's just stress that holds people, in the bed and not want to get out and do stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
You're right.
like I was saying, bro, it's like when you actually and I've learned for myself when I was going through all these things and I started making myself go out to do these things. You know what I'm saying? I
Discipline
made
dog.
myself go out there. Right. And then everything just it started like coming unfolding for me. I was like, yo, that was what I was missing. I was just sitting here laying in a pool of misery. I had to make myself do it, excuse me. And it wasn't easy process at first, but man, it's like soon as I've been doing that over and over, my dude, fuck man.
You're right.
You know?
Like I'm telling you, man, it's when you reach a certain point in your life, and you, like I said, you make certain decisions, personal decisions about the way you're going to live and the way you operate daily. You know, that all revolves around, you know, a bunch of different things, but self-awareness being one of them. Being able to fucking look at your life, look at yourself, and really ask yourself what you want, who you are, where you want to go, all those things. You have to know all that before you can really make any kind of significant adjustment to anything else, you know? So, if you have a life goal, but your life's all fucked up and you try to go after that life goal before you fucking fix yourself, before you fucking put yourself in order, you're never going to achieve that fucking thing. You know what I mean? So, it's a lot of what we're talking about revolves around first and foremost that self-awareness. You know what I mean? Because look at all the personal shit, the personal demons that you and I had to overcome mentally and emotionally to get to the places where we're at right now. You know what I mean? The places that we're at mentally and emotionally and spiritually. All the inner turmoil that we had to go through and still continue to. That's the thing, is just because we're at where we're at, by no means that we're fucking like cured or we don't have all of our fucking inner demons, fucking silenced, man. Every day is a struggle. Every motherfucking day it's going to be hard. It's going to continue to get harder as your life fucking goes on. But when you square all this away, everything up here and in here, you get stronger, you get better, you get more determined and more convicted, and you become more passionate about who you are and what you're doing. So all the bullshit in life can get harder and it can get more shitty and it can fucking shit all over you more and more as much as it wants. But the tougher you fucking get, the easier dealing with all the bullshit gets. You know what I mean? So it's just, but every day's a struggle, man. You have to make yourself stronger because every day is
Totally,
going to suck.
totally, man.
Yeah, I mean, everything was fine and all of a sudden it got all fucked up.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It looks fucking nice where you're at right now in the back. You're in your backyard right now, I'm guessing.
Yeah, man, I'm in the backyard relaxing on the bench that I did not want to be built back here, but now I'm enjoying it quite well.
What does it look like now, man? It looks good from the last videos you posted up.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, man. It's just a long bench. I'm sitting on it's got this open side over here so you can fucking like stretch and shit and everything. But yeah, no, they family friends of ours did a pretty good job building it up, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoy it, man, because I always get jealous when you're out there on the hammock. And so I was like, man, Brandon always looks so comfy out there, just chilling.
Man, this is the perfect place to literally get my tan on too, man.
It's
Seriously,
so
I fucking swear, man. Like, look at this shit. You know what I'm saying? My tan is fucking on point, man. You know.
You're dumb, dude. You're so dumb.
Hey, I was gonna tell you, bro. I finally seen that what you're talking about, the push, man. Me and Lee watched it together. I was actually gonna save a conversation where she could jump in for that one, but we both really enjoyed it, man. We told a couple other friends about it. It was so wild because that relates to a lot of things if you really think about it, man.
It
It was so
does.
crazy. It was so crazy, man. It was for y'all that don't know, man, if y'all get a chance, check this shit out. It's called The Push. And what would you put in a nutshell of it, DJ, man? It's mainly like can people, I guess, draw you or like people around you kind of tempt you to do something that I guess, the more people that are around you or something like that can kind of tempt you to do something that you might
Yeah.
that wouldn't be ethically right, to do or something or
It,
something
oh,
or
it's
morally right. I'm sorry to do.
yeah. So how'd you feel about it, man? Because all it is a social experiment on social pressure. That's all it is. But that's a gross oversimplification. you know, but
Right.
I personally felt 100% agreement with the message that they were trying to communicate, the point they're trying to make. However, comma pause for effect, I did not at all agree with how they did it. You know what I mean? Because what they fucking did to those people could have like severe, life-lasting psychological trauma. You know what I mean? You put somebody to commit fucking what they believed to be murder. You know what that can do to a human conscience, to the psyche, can fucking completely derail somebody's life. You know what I mean? And the depth and the length that they went to make those people fucking think that what they were doing was real was, I believe, to be just so beyond immoral and fucked up. I completely disagree with it. But the message and the point, I completely get it. But just how they did it was so fucking wrong, man. It really was.
Did you think
That's
you
how I
definitely
feel
thought it
about
was
it.
you definitely thought it was entertaining though.
Oh, it was entertainment. It was entertainment. But
Right, right.
I really, and this is a completely honest statement, dude. I think I listened to it more than I watched it because I was doing this like almost the whole fucking time. Like, holy fucking shit. I had a pillow in front of my face looking away. And I think I probably listened to it because I couldn't believe that those fucking people would just do that. You know what I mean? So
But for you guys, that a quick breakdown, I guess, on the part that kind of introduced the show was, I know you remember, DJ, when they were all sitting in that room, and then somebody, every time somebody else stood up, they would see if the next person would
I
also
wouldn't have made it
stand up.
past that.
Yeah, and that's what they were doing. They were like, and the more and more people that when they walked in the room, they were like filling out like an application or whatever like that. And when the guy came in, he noticed that the person was standing up and sit down. If that person sit down too, because it's like everybody's doing it. Or would you be the person like, or why the fuck are they standing up and keep sitting down again? Would you look at that and be like, I don't know, maybe I should keep doing this
Well,
because I guess it's the right thing to do right now?
and that is exactly why, one of the reasons why it was so fucked up. Because one, the vast majority of people would not have passed that test. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like the vast majority of people, I believe, would have been like, "Hey, why the fuck are we doing this?" You know what I mean?
right.
So, I mean, that was step one with why I think it was fucked up how they chose those people. And then the business thing when they went to their job. Anyway, but it's just it's they intentionally picked people who were more easily deceived and more gullible. You know what I mean? Like they went and found those people, and that's why it was just so fucked up, man. But yeah, no, it's all about that social pressure. You know, social fucking coercion and all that shit, man. And like I said, I agree with the point. I completely understand the message and get it. And I wish more people would grasp that concept and grasp the message and the lesson that, hey, always question everything. Don't fucking just go with the crowd. Don't be a fucking sheeple, because I would say the vast majority of people today, unfortunately, would much rather go with the crowd and do what everyone else is fucking doing, regardless of the morality or ethics, depending on what your spiritual beliefs are. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
I
Yeah.
100% want to promote that, but just the way they did that, man, was uh,
Yeah, man. I found myself in the more so than now, like in the past. Definitely, I've been in some crazy situations, man, where it was it was evolving like illegal shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was like questioning my mind, like, dude, like, do not do this because this could probably ruin your life. You know what I'm saying? And back then, man, I don't know if it's just where I was like, definitely a lot to do with being young minded and trying to be around friends and all these things, man. But I'm telling you, man, if I would have got busted for some of this stuff, I wouldn't be here today doing beans, bullets, and bullshit. Put it that way. I mean, and I was just going and it's like, man, it's just telling me, it's like, do not do this shit. You're better. Like, do not do this. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it goes a lot with, along with, just using your own mind and your own judgment and all these things, which, man, just like people fall into social groups, that's so easy to do sometimes. It's just to lean on that other group and be like, fuck, man, I guess it's all right because that group's doing it or whatever. The party's going right now, and everybody's doing this right now. So I mean, I guess it's totally fine and totally right to do. But hell no, man. I'm trying to make an imprint, like based on the things that I think about, the ideas that I come up with, and there's nothing wrong, if I look at other people's ideas, obviously, if it's a great positive thing and it applies to my life and I can feel it, like I'll definitely use those things to help build my character. But man, it's been some questionable shit, man. That man, me and a lot of the guys probably watching this shit is probably like, Noel, I know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, I
So
know what you're
guys,
talking
so guys,
about.
so guys, for the record, don't fucking call me out. No, I'll just play. Y'all can do whatever. But I know they're laughing like, bro, out of control, and I was just doing it, man, because of whatever it was, And now, man, the older and older I get, and I won't even say that. The more life experiences I deal with, man, it's like, you know,
It's
the
experience, not
importance
age.
of
It's
it.
experience.
Yeah, exactly. The importance of just, again, man, like I was saying, yes, the importance of just following your, like being you, man, is so important. And what I mentioned in that thing too, man, I had a buddy like hit me up, and it, like I tell you, man, it was out of nowhere, and that's the most important thing he said was I had to realize I was trying to go get psychiatric help. I was trying to ask like, why am I like this, and I kept doing all these things to like go get help and seek help, but then he had to realize like I am who I am. Not to say forget those things, but I am who I am, and fucking own that shit, man. Own who the fuck you are, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's
Just
what I mean
know
by
who
the
you are.
self-worth.
Know who
Yeah,
you are.
know who you are, and honestly, man, I mean, I'll even say own it. Like when you know who you are, be proud of that person, no matter what, man, because through the flaws that each and every person has, and the things that we deal with, just being human beings in this world. When you on top of that, when you build up and you say, man, I don't even like who I am, like, you know what I'm saying, or you like, man, what am I doing wrong? Or why do these people like this? Or why am I like, why is my mind like this? All it really is at the end of the day is, be who you are. And then, like I told him, bro, I was like, just be the better you. And what I mean by that is like, you are who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like when people say like, man, he's still the same. It's whatever, it's the same, but in the same sense, I do want to be the same, but I don't want to be the same Noel that was fucking busting up cars and doing crazy shit. There was a stage in my life, and the good thing about it is because through all those times, I can also relate to other people going through it because I've been there. So that's the great thing about it. But when I realized, man, and not that I'm to that point yet, um, but the more and more I realize, man, you know, who I am, and the worth that I have, and the capabilities that I have, and that everybody really has and stuff, man. I mean, the more and more better I feel, man. The more and more better I feel, bro, because I was going through a lot of times where, man, I just wasn't happy with myself, man. Like, and then I mean, with a lot of shit, I just wasn't happy with myself, bro. I was like, man, on the outside, it seemed like I was so happy, bro. It's like fucking Noel, man, he's crazy, and like laughing and doing all these things, but I just wasn't, man. When I had to come to terms and look at myself in the mirror and be real with myself, man, and lay down at night, like I said, bro, I wasn't happy at all with myself, man. I just wasn't, bro. And the only person that really kind of knew who I was Lee. I lived with her day in and out, and she definitely didn't know exactly, because we learn about each other every day. You never stop learning about the person you're with and shit. But in the same sense, she could really read, like, and she knew more than anybody. And it was funny because I felt like I was put on a facade when I was hanging around a group of people like Whitley, and I was like, I feel like such an idiot because she knows who I am, and I'm in a room full of people that's like think that I'm this way. And I mean, I guess a lot of people do it. It's like, man,
You
what's really
realize how
going
full of
on?
shit you are?
Man, yeah, like, and how unhappy and
You
how
realize you're
shitty I
full of
was, and
shit?
like, man, yeah, and I was like trying to make myself feel better about, like really putting on that face of, man, y'all, let's always being pumped up and always like super happy, like, and like, I mean, I was a lot of the times, but a lot of times I really wasn't. Like, I was like, man, you know what? I don't even really feel like being around none of you motherfuckers right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not even happy with myself, like, but I put on this act, and that was the worst thing to do because it was just a horrible experience, man, doing that. Like I was acting for, other people's happiness, I guess.
No, man, you're totally right, because um when you really truly realize that the first time when you're acting a certain way or a different way, than you normally are, and somebody else is seeing that, like somebody who really knows you, sees how full of shit you are when you're with other people, and you recognize that. And when that happened to me, I was like, holy fuck, I am full of shit, you know? and and before I tried to be a before all this, like that never bothered me back in the day, you know what I mean? Like I didn't give a fuck about being full of shit because I cared about everything else. I cared about, women and booze and my reputation and all this shit, you know what I mean? All this stupid crap. But then when I kind of started working on myself and when I got sober and when you start realizing like, man, why the fuck am I acting like this? Why am I hanging out with these motherfuckers? I don't even fucking like you, man. We
Yeah,
just know how to get fucked up together, you know what I mean?
right.
Um, and that's what was something that was really crazy for me sober, I mean, I quit drinking and smoking when I was an active duty fucking Marine and a biker in a fucking very, very, very prominent motorcycle club that, especially with a group of fucking guys that were a bunch of fucking savages, you know what I mean? Like, I got sober right in the midst of all that. So, when you get sober, and your profession is a group of guys with a drinking problem that happen to be Marines, and the other group of guys you hang out with are a bunch of more alcoholics with drinking problems that have to ride in motorcycles a lot. When you try to get sober in that life, it's not the easiest fucking thing in the world. And if you're successful at it, you realize quickly who are just your fucking drinking buddies and who are your real brothers. You know what I mean? Um, that shit gets apparent really fucking quick, and it sucks though, because people who you care about, motherfuckers that you have had fucking so much fun with, that you think that you love and that you think love you, when you fucking, direct your life on a certain path in a certain direction and they're not doing the same thing, it breaks your fucking heart when that relationship ends. You know what I mean? It really fucking does, you know? When you got brothers who aren't done fucking, living the wildlife, who continue fucking to do so and want to continue to do so, but you don't want to, it fucking sucks when you split ways, man. It really fucking does. Um, but what's more important to you, your fucking drinking buddies and that wildlife, or pointing your life in a different direction towards family and trying to achieve fucking life goals. You know what I mean? And as shit as that is, man, you can't fucking do some of those things unless you're like a rock star or something like that. If you're running around fucking doing nothing but getting fucked up and doing dumb shit, you know what I mean? And that's not the way my life was headed, bro. you know.
Did that get old to you ever, man, or you just wanted a better life? Did it get actually old to you, or did you really want to keep doing it, or you just genuinely didn't want to do it anymore?
No, dog, is I was hurting people, man. I was hurting people. You know,
Right.
like when I decided to get sober, man, it wasn't because, I mean, I hated myself, and I hated myself for a lot of different reasons. A lot of which were, um, a lot of the guilt that I carried around from Afghanistan, with Sean dying and Eddie getting shot and all the fucking things we went through. I carried around and still do carry around a lot of that fucking guilt. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother conversation. But on top of that too, I was hurting people, man. I was abused, like I told you before, man. Like the two females that I was with in the last relationships before I got sober, man, I was abusive, mentally, physically, emotionally, all that shit, man. And so it was I was hurting people, and when the day I got sober, it was because I hurt a kid. I hurt physically because I was playing with them too rough. Somebody who is extremely important in my life, you know what I mean? And it fucked me up, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, this is not me, dude. This is not how I want to fucking be. I mean, it was who I was at the time, because that's what my actions are. No matter who you are inside and who you think you are up here, what your actions are really dictates who you are. You know what I mean? Because you can feel and say whatever you want to, but what your actions do, what you actually do, determines who you are as a person. You know. So when that happened, when I heard him, because like I said, I was playing around too rough with the son of a very close friend of mine who happens to be handicapped too, man. He was epileptic, and I fucking heard him, and the shame that I felt from all the people that I was with, um, who were all family members, man. I all loved them to death. All the people that I was with were all family, and the shame that I felt, and realizing that I was hurting. Like it was the first time I realized, like firsthand, that I really am not only emotionally hurting people, but I physically do. And then when you reflect on that, man, you're like, fuck, I hurt everybody around me, man. I'm just a wrecking ball. All the people that I come into contact with, I just fucking slam into, what I mean? And when you have that realization that, just the people in your life, everyone in your fucking life, you are a source of negativity in their life. You know what I mean? When you realize that, for me, it blew me off my fucking feet. It really did, dude. One of the lowest points in my fucking life, and I was ready, dude. It was my time. I was just ready to change, dog. You know what I mean? So.
But I wonder, Lisa said some real shit to me the other day, because we was kind of reflecting back when she first met me and how wild I was, and just, and what she said, she was like, you always had a good heart, but you just didn't make the right decisions. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to say too, is like with you joining the bike clubs and whatever else, you did, the crazy shit that you did and stuff. Do you really think that there was like ever you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to else really
Yeah,
explain
of
it. Do you?
course. No, 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 no. Yeah, I get you. I get you. I mean, of course it is, man. Of course it is. Because on top of trying to be the good people that we are, we still have our real inner demons. We are still, as good as we both are and as honorable as we both try to be, we still have that demon within us. You know what I mean? That bad wolf, as that old Indian fucking thing goes,
Truly.
it's still there, dog. They're still there. You know what I mean? That's why every day is a struggle. You know what I mean? So of course that was you. You know what I mean? Just that was that inner demon. That was that bad wolf. That was all those shit fucking in the front seat. They were in the driver's seat. You know what I mean? And right now they're not. Right now the good you is. And that's why every day is a struggle, dog. Because that is you. That's part of you, regardless of you. What you were doing was trying to impress people. You still had that capacity within you to do it. So of course it was. No one else was making you do it. Nobody else was forcing you to do that shit. That was all you. It was all you. It wasn't booze. It wasn't drugs. It was you. It wasn't people. You know what I mean? You did that. So of course it was. But now you're more experienced, you're older, and you've gone through more things, and you've learned that that's not the way you want to fucking live. That's not the you that you want to be now. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. That's so real what you just said though, because now that you said like that, bro, I'm not just saying this, it really makes a lot more sense because I even realize now, man, when I get really, I mean, really upset when my buttons are pushed. It used to be back in the day where pretty hot temper, man. Like it really didn't take a lot for me to fucking spaz out and do crazy shit. And even now, bro, like it's if I really get pushed to that point, man, and like get in an argument, I spaz out and do some shit. It reminds me, bro, like hey, you're controlling it, but it
Yeah.
is still a part of you. You know what I'm saying? It really is, man. And I guess it's one of those things. It's like that thing that is a part of you that can be like so dark can also mold you in a good direction, meaning that that thing that was dark is now relatable to somebody else who's in the same situation doing some of the same things that you are. So in that way it's kind of used in a positive sense, but it's still, it's funny when you realize, like you said, every day is a struggle. When I wake up and I talk about all this stuff, man, I really have to gear my mind to things because, man, like I realize how real that is. Like every day is a struggle, and sometimes I go back and reflect. Like right when I say something positive, man, like I'll be saying some shit to somebody that's like inspires them, and then I'll go back the next morning and literally beat myself up. I'm like, fuck, wasn't I just saying the opposite of this? You know what I'm saying? And it goes to show how real life is and how challenging way, but through those challenges, a better person through those times.
Yeah, no, man. I totally fucking get it, man. And the way I really do picture it in my head, I am so crazy. I have had so much fucking dumb bullshit bouncing around between the years. Like I literally picture my thoughts as, the angel and demon on your shoulder. whenever I literally fucking want to be lazy or fucking, whatever the fuck, I always picture the little fucking devil sitting on your shoulder telling you to, and I'm like, shut the fuck, and I really feel like that, like you're, because that's I truly believe you do. You have the evil and good both within us. Everybody does. Every human being on earth has the capacity for evil and the capacity for good. And when you start feeling yourself doing dumb shit, and it's not evil. Like being lazy is not an evil thing, but being fucking lazy all the time, all day, every fucking day can be very fucking evil, because it ruins your life because you don't do shit. You know what I mean? So whenever I really do feel lazy and shitty and all those things, I picture that little fucking devil just picking at me, pointing at me, digging at me. You know what I mean? Dog, have you seen those videos that have been released recently of the heads-up displays from the naval pilots, from the Air Force pilots catching UFOs like on their heads-up display? Have you seen those shits?
I haven't, man. I always heard about that one thing that shows it. Was it called like the fucking where they have like all the UFO things that landed and the crop circles that it's where's that place called? You know what I'm talking about, man. I can't
Yeah,
think of it
Area
right now.
51. Area
Yeah,
51.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know why I can think of it. Yeah,
Dog,
no, I haven't seen
not
some pictures, no.
dude. I mean, not this isn't conspiracy. This is go whenever you get a sec, whenever you're fucking around online. Go watch. Just look up and Google. Military aircraft fucking catches UFOs or whatever. And it's literally over the past couple of years. I don't even think it's been that long. There's been a handful of aircraft, military aircraft, that have caught these flying objects, these unidentified flying objects, and traced them. Like the pilots are having a conversation, going, "What the fuck is this thing? Holy shit!" Like these pilots are literally freaking the fuck out. Like what and it's crazy because you don't believe it's real, but I mean, without being a fucking conspiracy theorist, which I'm not, these are actual fucking heads up displays from the cockpit of military aircraft and listening to pilots go crazy over seeing fucking an unidentified flying object.
Dude, I would totally like to check that shit out, man. I mean, like
Go do
me either. I'm not a conspiracy, like I'm not into it either. But I mean, honestly, I don't put anything past anything anymore, bro. That's just how I
No, man.
am, man. I don't give a fuck what like people say, like whatever. But I mean, honestly, man, with everything that's out here right now and all the stuff that we don't know about and how technology is so advanced now, bro, I just don't put anything past anything anymore, bro. Like it's scary, like not scary, but it's crazy to think about how like much technology has changed. I was having a conversation back at the he's back when there were beepers, pagers, and before the cell phones, and then when they came out with the cell phone, it was that big like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, big ass fucking phone that you can only go so far or whatever. And man,
Yeah.
like now we're sitting here doing a FaceTime pretty much call. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if you think about it, that wasn't too long ago. You know what I'm saying? So
No,
it's
man,
crazy
you're
to think about
absolutely
it.
right. And and and
Yeah.
and you're talking about just in the past handful of years. Like we're in I'm 32, you're 30, dog. And
Yeah.
we were around before the internet. Like, doesn't that sound like
Right.
prehistoric? Doesn't that sound like it's fucking Jurassic period, like before the internet? Doesn't that make you feel like you're old as fuck? But we're in our 30s, dog. Now think
Yeah.
about when we're in our 50s, in our 20, you know what I mean? In 20 years, think about how fucking far technology is going to progress. You know what I mean? Like Elon, I don't know if you follow Elon Musk at all, man, but that dude was just at a conference, South by Southwest, which is a pretty big tech conference. But anyway, he literally said, literally, like I'm going to try to quote him, but he said, "Mark my words, artificial intelligence is a far greater threat than nuclear weapons."
Really?
and Elon Musk is arguably the biggest tech guy on the planet, arguably. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna put he owns his own space company. You know what I mean? And he owns his own
Right.
car. He does all that shit. And he said with a certainty, mark my words, that artificial intelligence is a far greater threat than the most powerful destructive force on Earth, which is nuclear weapons. He said artificial intelligence is a greater threat than that. You know what I mean? And if people don't understand the significance of him saying that, and if that doesn't scare the fuck out of you, it's I don't know what to say. You know, it's crazy to think about the world my children are going to grow up in. You know what I mean? So
Yes, yes. I totally agree with that. I've never heard that quote, bro, but I totally
he said
agree
it
with
this
that,
weekend.
man.
That was this past weekend. That was
Right.
fucking like 4 days ago.
I totally agree with it. And like you mentioned, bro, and I'm not just talking about the reason I want to talk, obviously back in the day, you didn't hear about shit like, all the school shootings and how social media now is, you know, don't get me wrong, can be used for a great thing, but also can be used for many, many wrong things, And when it's used on a mass scale, because everybody pretty much has social media now, everybody has a way of getting on and connecting with others, man. I'm telling you, man, if it's taken the wrong way and the wrong people, it is definitely scary. Like the things that can go on. And when I mention just how life is going in general, man, you didn't really hear about like all the stuff that's going on now, bro. Like in the world in general, and a lot more often. But I do know things that's been arguably what everybody's.
Damn it! Stop dropping your phone, Brandon.
So sorry, guys. That was definitely totally Bailey over here. Fucking, she tripped over the charger,
I'm
but
not
no,
even
like
I'm not even going to edit that part out. That part's going to stay in.
definitely, man. I'm gonna start making that my signature thing, man. Just dropping calls for like 3 seconds. But yeah, man. I don't know, man. Like I said, you keep with a lot of this stuff more, and I want to a lot more now. But I don't know why it just doesn't. I mean, I keep up with the stories that surf a lot. I really do. Like I see them, and I don't really look into it too much. And I don't know what it is that don't really like catch my interest that much. But when you bring it up to technology, that really catches my interest because I know as a mass, if things are used the wrong way, if technology is used in a great way, it could become great. Because then imagine us, instead of us having a FaceTime call or a Discord call, we can literally virtually probably be beside each other. Like that's how technology is going to end up. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be crazy. So if it's used in a good way, it's fucking absolutely wonderful. But if not, man, I
Dude,
totally agree with that fucking quote. You
dude,
know what I'm saying?
one of the other things that Elon Musk talked about at South by again was just a couple days ago. He said that he believes by the end of next year, by the end of 2019, that self-driving cars will be more prevalent than person driving cars. You know what I mean?
Here we go.
He
That's like
said
some
by the
iRobot
end
shit. Yeah.
he said by the end of next year, man. You know, and I don't think I believe that. I don't personally do. But
Mm-hmm.
just the fact that he does, and he said that, and he is credible in what he says. Um, and on top of that, when he said that, it made me realize. I looked over at Abigail and Gabriel, and I looked and I said, "You're never going to drive a car. They're never going to have a driver's license. I mean, literally, when they're 15, 16 years old, they're not going to fucking cars aren't going to be around, man. You know, and that's
so what? All right, I got a question. So what happens to people? What happens to employment and stuff, man? What happens with all of that shit?
exactly, dog, exactly. Because one of the biggest fucking industries in the country is trucking. Okay,
My
and
dad's
once
a
you make a
trucker. Yeah.
self-driving truck, you completely fucking go like you jack unemployment to this fucking level that it's never been at in well, I'm not gonna say in human history, but in America, in American history.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's one of the big things, man, that technology will affect. That's one of the second and third order effects because once artificial intelligence gets to the point in technology, self-driving cars, so on and so forth, when you fucking have people who just don't have jobs because robots have taken everything over, what does that do to the economy? And what does that do for the fucking need of a job? And all these questions and topics and all these things are completely behind what's happening in technology. And that was one of the things that Elon Musk talked about was that all of this technology is going and growing so fast and it's going to have so many different significant effects on so many different things. No one is fucking taking the time as far as nations and everything like that to really talk about what it is we're developing and who has it and what, because he was like it's all of these things are going to happen due to technology that are going to impact the way we live our life. You know what I mean? Like he was going into shit about medical technology and that Homo sapiens, as we exist, will be extinct in a handful of years anyway. Because every human is going to be upgraded. Because we're all going to have implants in our fucking brains and artificial limbs and all this shit. So he was like, man, upgraded human beings will fucking outnumber normal human beings, and eventually us as a species will just, even if we do exist as people, we'll be far upgraded. We'll be fucking superhumans. Everybody will be, it's just it's fucking nuts when you think about it. And what's crazy is that those are probably going to happen in our lifetime. Like we're probably going to see people on Mars. We're probably going to fucking see, a World War III. We're probably going to we're all, in our lifetime, dog, in our fucking lifetime. And when you say that, people go, "Oh man, you're crazy. You're thinking." No, bitch. Go look around what's happening. Go look and hear what people are saying in these levels. Plug into current events. Know what's going on in the fucking world. And when you do, and when you see, and you just inform yourself on this shit, it, it sucks because you get like we're all doomed. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just like the world's gonna end. But when you know history, when you also fucking educate yourself on history and read, you realize that no matter what fucking problems mankind faces at what time, we've always gotten past it. You know what I mean? Look back on the history of mankind. There's always the world's going to end. The world's going to end. These huge fucking just global events that completely change the way humans exist. But we've always made it past. You know what I mean? We're obviously here. You know what I mean? So we've made it past all the horrible things in our history. You know what I mean? And whatever horrible things are in front of us, we will make it past that. You know? So it's not like the world's going to fucking end, but that doesn't mean that the craziness and the change that's going to happen isn't real. You know what I mean? Like it's very real, you know?
Totally,
But
totally. Yeah. Only thing I can say, man, if they do, if this happens our lifetime, I hope they give me a pill where I can just say sex life. You know what I'm saying? Well, pill but no, bro, I totally know what you mean in the sense of why do you? I mean, but with technology, why do you think that it always has to be an advancement in technology when we have? Do you think it's because it's ultimately power? You know what I'm saying? Is it ultimately power that the ability to control, or you just? I mean, what is the purpose? Because it's a thrill of seeing how advanced we can get with technology, or you know what I'm saying? It's because like I love technology, like it's a cool thing to do. But again, if it gets out of hand where people are losing like their livelihood, you know what I mean? Human beings, they're losing the ability to provide for their family. On top of that, you don't even feel important because you don't, again, you're not driving, you're not doing things. It's like everything is getting done by whatever robots or whatever the fuck that the case may be. Man, that is wild to think, but I very, very firmly believe that in our lifetime, I totally agree. Just because, again, it has been within what, 30, so it's been 3 years ago, or maybe a little bit more, or less, I don't know, that technology has progressed this far.
it's
So
a
with
technological revolution, man.
yeah, man, and it is wild to see that because again in the past, with the whole like the industries and industrial revolution and how things were like, what I'm saying, how things keep evolving, but in the same sense, like you said, as human beings, we're able to boom, okay, you maybe don't need to have enough workers or as many workers to operate this machine, but what the fuck happens when a machine's operating and controlling everything that's dictating your life? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
riddle me this, Batman. Okay, riddle me this.
Yeah.
What happens when robots and computers start telling people that their life, when you make artificial intelligence, you make a computer, you make a robot, and what happens when it starts saying, "Hey, I'm a living thing. I have rights. I'm a
Yeah.
robot. I have rights. You can't make me fucking
Right.
flip this hamburger. You can't make me do this job." What happens when that fucking happens? You know what I mean?
Our
And
Robot happens. The movie Our Robot happens, man. Motherfucking robot starts spazzing out and doing crazy shit. I don't know, man. It's crazy,
yeah,
man.
and
I don't know.
yeah, it is, dude. And what's even more scary, or it's not even scary to me, man. It's just crazy because like I said, I don't know how many people you can imagine that probably had conversations like the one we're having right now in previous generations, you know, like when the radio was being and TV and oh my God, these things are going to change everything. But we are literally in the technological revolution. This is our generation. This is happening to our generation. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
these real possibilities of what we're talking about are literal realities like happening. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's not sci-fi. This is no longer science fiction. This is no longer some fucking fairy tale. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's all real shit. And it's going to be interesting, man, because people. I mean, that's why you have like conspiracy theorists that the world's going to end and doomsday people and all that shit.
Yeah.
Which you could give them a little bit of validity. I mean, I won't give them a lot, but the possibility for all that horrible shit to happen, I'll believe. Yeah, it's possible. I'm not gonna say likely. I don't believe that shit. You know, but at the same time, man, that you cannot downplay the significance of change that is going to happen in our lifetime. You know what I mean? Highly due to technology. So,
Right. Well, I'll put it this way, bro. The same people that thought like some of these, and again, I agree with you. I'm not into conspiracy, but the same people that thought the shit that we're doing now was far fetched, and now to see that it's not a fairy tale anymore. Hey, man. Hey, the only way that people think that some of those ideas are far fetched is because it's not the norm for them. Like you don't see this shit
exactly,
every day. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
But
Ignorance.
when exactly, but when it unfolds or when things unfolds and you're like, wow, really? You know what I'm saying? You're like, yeah, I mean, because you got to think, man. Again, the possibilities. You always hear that saying the possibilities are endless. Like, you know what I'm saying? But in a sense, man, it's so fucking true. And definitely with technology or things that again how you mentioned with the pictures of the what was it, UFOs or was it aliens and stuff
Yeah.
like I mean it sounds funny because we always joke about stuff like that, it does, and it's one of those things I know people will look at and be like, oh, here we go with this again, but
No.
again, I'm not saying that is the case and it's a proven, like, but at the end of the day I don't put anything past anything because I remember that saying, everything is everything, if that makes sense. Everything
Dog.
is everything, and you can apply anything to everything. And I hope I didn't throw these words around too much, but it's so true. You can apply anything to everything, and everything is everything. When you thought you knew enough, you realize you never know enough. Like, you know what I'm
Dog.
saying? There's not
I just
enough to
read
know.
this. Listen, listen, listen. I just read this article. This it was about a theory of why we haven't contacted aliens yet. Like, because that's the thing. If aliens exist, why, and if they're so advanced, why haven't they contacted us? You know what I mean? And that's like, amongst the science and space nerds, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this theory that the reason why um we haven't had contact with aliens because the theory is that once a species gets to the point to where their existence or they get to the point where their technology can push them past their own universe, something catastrophic happens that brings them back to like that folds the technology back and collapses that civilization.
Right.
So again, I'm gonna try to explain it simpler, but once a civilization or a species gets to a certain point where it can do like interstellar travel, a catastrophic event happens that prevents them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the theory. And it was
Hold
crazy
on,
to
I'm sorry
think
to
about.
interrupt. Go back again. You said what'd you say, travel, intercell travel, or I missed that point. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, like once a species becomes capable of doing interstellar travel, traveling out of their universe, something catastrophic happens to
Right.
that species that prevents them from doing it. That fucking takes all the technology, all that kind of shit. So,
Mm-hmm.
basically saying that you know once a species gets to a certain point where its technology can allow them to go into space, deeper into space, that species basically fucking does something to itself that takes it back to lesser technology. Um,
Right.
and it's just weird because it was scary to think about. But anyway, the point of me bringing that up is that our technology that we're talking about it's going to fucking happen, man.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
It is. It
it's
is.
it's going to be so interesting just to sit the fuck back and watch and be like, holy fuck, man, this is happening in our life. I am watching this go down. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
it's that's why I try to stay so plugged into current events, and that's why I'm always fucking reading what I believe to be credible fucking and truthful news. And that's why I don't even bother with mainstream bullshit. You know, I know who I pay attention to online and the websites and the people who I know to be credible and honest, because when you really plug into what's going on, man, not only, like I said, and not only in our country but the world, it freaks you the fuck out, because you're just like, holy shit, everything is crazy, man. Everywhere. And
Yes. Yes.
it's scary. But it's interesting, man. Like it's exciting to me because we live in interesting times, man. And it is to me, my perspective is that the significance of our lifetimes, man, like our generation is going to be looked back on, in hundreds and hundreds of years from now, if not thousands of years from now, about just the significance of what happened during our lifetimes, man. You know, I truly believe that. I really do.
Yeah.
Because think about it. All how long has the internet existed? You know what I mean? And I don't even think it's 30. I don't even think the internet is 30 years old. And then
That's
think
what I'm
about
saying, man.
the rest of human existence. you
Bro,
know?
I'll put it this way. I remember I was at Liberty University when I first heard of Facebook. And for all of you guys that don't know what Liberty is, it's a school
It's a
that,
good place.
yeah, it's a good school, but I didn't do any research. It was like a Christian school, like as far as like a college, and they had very strict ass rules. But I don't know why.
Very.
I don't even know why I said that, because that's beside the point I'm trying to make. But um, I was there, and then that's when I first got introduced to Facebook, and I'm like, what is this Facebook shit? You know what I'm saying? And bro, I'm telling you, that's when it was starting up, because it was they had MySpace, and then they had the Facebook, and just to see when we think about like cell phones and how there were pagers and cell phones, and now you can actually communicate through FaceTime and all this shit, and then like now how Facebook started off, where it was more based around, it's a social site. You get to meet people in your school, because at first when I did, it was like the people that was right there. You had to be going and attending a school and have a school, at least have a school email address. You know what I'm saying? With at whatever.com edu. And now just to see where Facebook has gone from socializing with each other about whatever, and all these things. You're still doing that, but now it's from that to the entertainment world coming into it, to all these memes coming into it, or memes, or however you pronounce it, coming into it, to everybody like becoming it's changed drastically in that amount of time. So for us to even question that technology won't get to the point where it can be used in a great way or totally out of hand, where you having all these people suffer from it and families suffering from it, and then it's even questioning your own computer up here. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's who we are. We are the creators of a lot of these things. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's this mind who has emotions, and also, or my bad, it's this mind thinks this way, and this body that can feel the emotions. Like, we are very fucking unique. You know what I'm saying? Like, very. But then when all the technology comes into play, and like all of these fucking sites and everything that we're hearing about now, and then the significance of a human being, now it's kind of like, okay, I can see one day a robot being like, oh, that's one of those fucking, human beings. You know what I'm saying? That created us, and now we're about to crush his ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no, dog, you're right.
it very well could be like that. And the significance of a person and their own ability to think and all these things. And like you said, when the computer's saying, hello, motherfucker, I got rights too. And you're like, hold up, I created your ass. Like, no, hold up, you created me, but I got rights. And if you don't exercise those rights, you might want to go find shelter somewhere, and it's crazy, bro, like that you mention it, and man, how relevant it is, and how it's going to keep growing and going in that direction, man. It's fucking crazy, bro. It is.
Yeah.
It's
So what's scary in a fact, dude, like literally, this right here, your cell phone, what you're on right now, this is a more powerful computer than what put men on the moon.
right. Yeah. That is
Literally.
wild. That is wild.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Man.
the internet wasn't around when we were walking on the moon, you know?
Right,
Jeez.
right. And the
And that,
phases of everything. If you take one of these things apart, man, and the motherboard, you know what I'm saying? It's like little roads and shit. Like, you know, it's like all these little designs and all these things, man. And it's like those little small things, man. Like it's to be like you said, man, that advanced in a little box that we have, and they you know they continue to make these things smaller and all this shit. Is it like all these things, man? It's wow. That's all I can say, man. The word for the day is wow.
word of the day. Wow.
Mind blown.
No, it's crazy, man. And like I
Yeah.
said, a lot of people get all fucking, bent out of shape, or people go, "Oh, that's not." People could be willingly ignorant if they want, and I choose to be, positively skeptical. You know what I mean? I choose to believe in the possibility of all fucking things being real, but having a reasonable skepticism of all things as well. You know what I mean? Being able to fucking see things through a reasonable, logical, but skeptical mind. And also, like I said too, man, I'm a very, very fucking open believer in the supernatural, and the however you choose to describe it, man. I mean, I
Yes.
believe in all of that. Yeah, I believe in the possibility of all that. And you combine that with science and fact, and all that. It's an amazing thing when you can open your mind really, really, truly to the possibility of all that. You know what I mean? Truly believing in the possibility of supernatural and the divine, but also having a strong belief in science and fact and all that shit. You know what I mean? When you can really have a good grasp in both of those and make them work, it's really it's liberating, man. It really is. You know?
Yeah. It definitely is, man. And again, I'm with you right there too, DJ. As like when I say spiritual, I definitely don't mean a religion. Like what I'm saying, I definitely don't. And that's just me personally. Like if I had to like vouch for, I guess if I had to, fill out anything, it would be like I always put Christian because like
Yeah,
I'm
Christian.
more, and I'm more, yeah, I'm more into that. But then, yeah, man, and on the ship of like, because again, that's one thing I don't. Whatever a person believes, if it makes them better, I'm all for it. That's how I feel. But in the same sense, man, I believe what I believe. But more than anything, it's way bigger than a religion and any kind of label saying that you're a Catholic,
Yeah.
Christian, or whatever. It's cool if that makes you feel like you grew up that way and it makes you feel proudful and that's what you believe and that's fine. What anybody believes is fine. Like I don't argue about stuff like that. But what I've grown to know, and when I say everything is everything, at the end of the day, there's so many ways that you can look at all this stuff, science, spiritual, like all these things. But, again, us being who we are, whether it's science or all these things, if you shut yourself off of social media, you will live. Like, what I mean? If you go down to obviously we know these things, but again, it kind of reassures me that, I am like when it says like we're made in God's image and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like we are like, these things that we have and stuff, and that's what I mean by spiritual, my own abilities and believing in a creator, because there has to be like, I believe in all of that totally, but also the insight and the feelings and the direction and all these things that he gave us individually. And when you cancel technology out and you had to have somebody who thought about like building these things, like what I'm saying, you had to have somebody who had the mind, or back in the day when they colonized different places and they went places and settled down and had ideas to build shit like this, and the other groups looked at this and took that idea, but this all came from like, I wouldn't say spiritual, but it's the instinct that God gave, like all these things that we have, like, an ability to be creative and all these things, you know what I'm saying? And again, that's why I'm trying to say, when technology gets to the point where it's so bigger than actually that person, that's when it can be really like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? When we are really the ones who are overseeing all of these things, the ability that we have in our own universe, which is ourself. And I know I just want like just crazy as like, what I'm saying? But I firmly believe that, and that's what I mean when I say spiritual. I'm saying spiritual in of everything that we feel and I'm not against it. It can totally be used for a good thing, and it can totally be used in a bad way. Just like we are as individuals, we can do bad things, or we can make good or bad decisions, or whatever like that. But at the end of the day, man, to see all the advancements and not with just technology and computers and stuff like that, but the advancements of people, and how we've learned from the past. You know how they always say, you know, you can look back and learn from the past and the mistakes of others, and that can make you make right decisions, or, you know, make you a better
This is
person.
true.
Again, that's so true. That's so true. You know, we are tech, like we are fuck some computer, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we are these things. And again, we look back, and I know you're a big I know you love history, man. I mean, I do too. You know, not I probably didn't read as many books and stuff as you have, but I do like the fact of actually thinking like,
I'm a nerd.
man, yeah. And that's, no, honestly, it's cool, man, because like, and I know you know it's cool because it is so interesting to think, man. Like there was once upon a time, obviously, that there wasn't automobiles. There was once upon a time like this great war happened, and you know there was once upon a time we were divided, and now, like, you know, it is. And to see the advancements that we make and so much more that we can make, and in ways that we can go, is incredible, man. It's amazing. It's amazing.
No, you're right, man. You're right. You know, and that's why I'm such a nerd with history, dog. Like that's why I love to read so much. Is just because like, you know, people think that all of our problems today and all the things we're going through are specific to us. You know, like mankind has never dealt with race or weapons or war or poverty or fucking you know, I mean, like I said before, man, this has happened throughout human fucking history, and it's just the circumstances of our problems are the only thing that are unique. You know what I mean? As long as there are human beings, there are going to be those that are very good, those that are very bad, and the rest of us in between that fucking fall victim to either side one way or another. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's just, you know, when you read history and you learn about all the generations and all the problems and all the things of the past, and you realize like, holy fuck, this is extremely what we're this is exactly like what we're going through now, because it's happened before. And holy shit, these were the good guys and these were the bad guys, and this is what the good guys did and this is what the bad guys did. And
Right.
holy shit, what's happening today, those guys, those are the bad guys, and these guys, these are the good guys, because this
Yeah.
happened
Yeah.
before, you know. And you can you just learn so fucking much, man. And
Yeah.
I love learning now. You know, I love filling my stupid head with stupid shit and being a big old fucking nerd, man. It's I've always been that way though, man. I've always been a fucking nerd, but I was
Right.
just always a violent drunk nerd.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. Myself, that's one thing I do want to work on more, is like not making myself be, because again, when we having this conversation, I'm totally wired and interested in it. But I do need to really, again, well, you know how I mentioned at the beginning of this the conversation, I was like saying where I had to make myself go to the gym and do things I didn't think I would like, and I've grown to love them and stuff. I really do need to kind of venture out there, man, and look more. Again, like, you know, I keep on. I guess I do see the things that surface on the main things we hear about with current events, but there's a shitload of stuff that I probably definitely don't, you know about, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, you know, and what's funny, man, is look at it like working out, man. You literally, because you work out to look good, you work out not and to be powerful, to defend yourself, to be able to defend your family. You know what I mean? You work out to be a fucking a powerful, attractive fucking, you know, man.
Right.
And when you read, when you stay fucking up to date with current events and book, and you're literally strengthening your mind and your intelligence and your perspective, which every man, every person has the ability to be physically dominant, man. But not
Exactly.
everyone
I
has
was
that
gonna say
ability to
that.
be.
I was gonna say that, bro. I was gonna say it really is more important to actually work the mind. I agree. I mean, both of them, it's a balance to everything, but you know what I mean. Like our body gets old and starts to deteriorate. Your mind gets older too, but it gets sharper if you allow it to. You know what I'm saying?
And well, the point of that, you know, like I was saying, look at reading and look at current events like you do working out. You know what I mean? And it's because it's going to make you more dangerous. It's going to make you more attractive. It's going to make you stronger. The stronger you make this, the more knowledge you put in here. And not only that, but when you can match your knowledge with your character, when you can mold the two together and really fucking, you know, reinforce the knowledge that coincides with who you believe, or your virtues and your character and what you believe. When you can do that, man, like that's all it's like I said, man, it's very liberating, and it's you get thirsty for it. It's addictive. You just That's why I'm always reading, dog. I always read. I'm always looking at what's going on in the world, you know. And yeah, I have time to, but if you think you have time to fucking read with a toddler and an infant, please, you fucking try it. You know what I mean? But you make time if that's what you care about. You know what I mean? So
So it's you look forward to reading pretty much and stuff. Like
yeah,
you enjoy it, yeah.
yes,
And that's cool. Like
yes.
it's totally cool, man. I really want to again, man. Like when I was the way that I can relate, I guess, but not really. It's funny because I said probably, but definitely first. I said a way I can relate, but not really. I'm funny.
But
I'm an
not
idiot.
really.
Uh, but no, man. But when in school, I guess I got into it then, and even things I had to read, I really totally got into it. But I don't know if it's because it was like an assignment that I had to do, and I wanted to see if I can get it done and what my ideas can, I don't know. It's because but me doing it on my free will, it's like if I pick up a book, bro, right now and start reading it, I would totally get into it. But it's just that point, I guess, just going to do it when I'll be like, man, there's so much other things I could do when I got to realize you can get lost in a book and you can travel different places with your mind. Like, you know what I mean? You can read a book and you can travel all these fucking places and, with your mind, you can be anywhere, like technically, like, it's obviously you're not going to be there in person, but you can like bounce around ideas and travel and get lost in that shit, bro. It's funny because I can totally see it. I just don't do it yet. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
You will, man, because it's like, especially so. For instance, for me, man, the past handful of books that I've read, because I've read about 4 books in the past as many months, like the past 3 or 4 months maybe, and one of which was a novel called "The Virtues of War" by a guy Stephen Pressfield, and it's about Alexander the Great. And that's what I was, every time I would fucking come on it and get on Marco Polo and tell you guys like how gangster, like I was supposed to read it at that time. And Alexander the Great is one of my fucking favorite people from history. And Stephen Pressfield is an amazing author. Like the movie 300 was based off the fucking book Gates of Fire, which Stephen Pressfield wrote. And anyway, it just like, you know, when you can read a fucking book about a person or a time or whatever the fuck it is, whatever you're passionate about, whenever you can read a book about something that you're just very passionate and involved and interested in, it just you like I said, man, it gets addicting. You just want to fucking just soak yourself in with more. And like you said, when you're reading and you have a fucking crazy imagination like I do, because you're super creative. Because
Yeah.
you specifically are super creative. And
Right.
so am I because I have a fucking crazy imagination. Not because I'm a
Right.
creative person, but my imagination is just fucking crazy, because I'm a crazy person, you know?
Totally. Yeah. I
So
can
when
relate.
you're reading, especially something that you're passionate about, you like it's here, man, and I don't know. It's just I love it. That's why I'm a nerd, man. So
Man,
uh,
it totally makes sense, man. It makes, and honestly, when you said I will eventually, I totally agree.
mhm.
I feel like I really will when you say that. I really think so, man, because that's one thing that I want to work on myself too. Is I feel like I think I'm a very knowledgeable person, but I feel like I could be so much more, and I feel like that part is lacking from me not looking more into things and researching or not researching, but reading more and kind of as you said, bro, like my mind, I have a huge imagination and like I really do. And some of the stuff I think I was like, why the fuck would I think of some crazy shit like that? You know what I'm saying? And that's because again, I do got a big imagination. So I can imagine if I, start feeding the brain a lot more with reading and some of those ideas and everything you learn from it and how that book talks to you, man, it does nothing but sharpen and broadening things to be like, wow, your imagination is even more lucrative and going out there. It's like, boom, like, you know what I'm saying? That's an awesome thing, man. I really hope to, and I think that I will. I won't even say think. I know that I will start
You
at
will.
least challenging myself, to read something, in and out, through it and just see if I start growing that ability to like, man, you know what? I want to pick up the next chapter. I want to do this.
Dog, I mean, and people think that fucking read, oh, nerd read, and not, excuse me, let me rewind. None of that made sense. A lot of people like to fucking think and look at reading like you're some fucking nerd, some book nerd and shit like that. Even though I don't really think that's a thing. I don't think anyone really thinks that because I was even a reader when I was a drunk. When I was still in the club and
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fucking Marine, I was still a reader. I didn't read as much as I do now, and I didn't read as much history as I do. It was more like kind of sci-fi nerdy shit, a lot of Game of Thrones and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff, fantasy, all that shit. Um, That's what I was more into. But I still did it, and no one was like, "Oh, you're such a foot." Well, everyone fucking made fun of me for a lot of different reasons, but not because I read. You know what I mean? Not
Right.
because I was a reader. You know.
Well, think about those gangster flicks, man. You always need that fucking intelligent, like, you know what I'm saying? It's always that person that feels like, man, I've seen plenty of ones where it's like, man, he's not the most badass person, but he's the brains behind a lot of these things. You know what I'm saying? And he gets a lot of not glory from the outside, but he's the mastermind behind a way a lot of this shit's going on. Or either that OG himself, the actual gangster himself, is like
Well,
he's up to date on shit. He's making good calls because he's smart, not dumb and
and that's
violent.
the thing, man. Like,
Not dumb and violent and shit.
the, people think that. Well, excuse me, not people. I always used to think that the most physically badass dude, who is the best fucking warrior, badass fighter, get all that shit, is the pinnacle. You know what I mean? That's what makes the best leader is your physical prowess. You know how gangster of a fucking dude you are physically.
Right.
And I was so wrong in that. You think Genghis Khan was the most badass warrior out of all of his army? No.
Right.
You think that
Yeah.
Alexander the Great was the greatest warrior out of his entire? Those are the two most prolific conquerors of all time. And I guarantee you, they were badass, but by no means were they the fucking most badass. It's
Right.
because they had everything up here and everything in here, and they made the two work. You know what I mean? And it's always the amount of intelligence and the fortitude of character to be able to apply that intelligence to whatever the fuck it is you're doing that really makes you dangerous, powerful, successful, whatever fucking thing you choose to say, So it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's important, dog. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say it's the most important, but
No. Yeah. Yeah.
it is it. No, I will say it, man. I mean, no, I can't
I,
say most
I
important.
would say it's a balance, man. I would definitely say it's a
Yeah,
balance
you're
because like
right. Yes.
a person can be like really okay, not an idiot, but he's not the most intelligent, but he's got a good swag about him and a way of his delivery and shit like that. And it's funny because I'm kind of talking about myself in the past, like even in the Marine
Us.
Corps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
us.
in the Marine Corps, man. Like there were it could be times like I just didn't really know what the fuck, like you know what I'm saying, but you can
But
always
you
like
picked the
BS
book.
you can like BS yourself through it. You be like, well, actually, you can just do it. You're really good at articulating that stuff. So people are like, oh, you know what? This dude actually know what the fuck he's talking about. In your mind, you're like, I don't know a damn thing that's going on right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
no,
it's
dog.
so
You're
it's that
bullshit your way
balance.
through
It
it.
sounds like I'm an idiot, but it's that balance. It's like, man, I thought you knew that shit the whole time. Hell no, man. I just know how to fucking play that shit. You know what I'm
Well, look at the
saying?
push when they made that motherfucker get up on stage.
Yeah, exactly, man. Wow, that's so true. So it goes to show, man, how much I feel like everything. What we were just talking about intelligence and the way you carry yourself, and the way you work out and appeal physically. Like if you can get that balance of things, and it's always a working process. That balance, man, it's like too much of anything could be too fucking much, but too little, obviously the same. But if you can get that balance, man, it's like you can. Then on top of that, you can bounce around, man. You can. It's a lot of things you can do when you get that balance, and read some, obviously take care of your body and be that person who you are, kind of like how you mentioned it a little bit ago, bro. You was like saying what you can feed off, like say for instance, reading, and also still develop your own character with that. I don't mean because then it's like not like you're just some know-it-all. It's like you're a person that knows a lot, but also knows how to chill and have a fucking good time. Like you know what I'm saying? And they develop that really good. It's and that balance makes them a overall like fucking sharper human being.
Yeah. And what's crazy about it, and one of the things I love too, is when you're a fucking person who thinks you're smart, you think you're fucking smart. And
Yeah.
then when you really go and try to like learn about smart people, you realize quickly how fucking dumb you are,
Right.
And
Exactly.
you're just
Ex-
like, fuck, man, I don't know shit, and I never knew a fucking thing. And
Yeah,
when you
yeah, yeah.
grasp that no matter if you're the smartest person in the fucking world or you're the smartest whatever, you don't even come close to knowing
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a fraction of everything. You know what I mean? You don't know shit in it, and you could
Right.
be the most educated person on the planet and still be the dumbest motherfucker. Like having an education does not mean you're intelligent. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So it's but when you truly, for instance, the book I'm reading right now, Jordan Peterson, that guy is such a fucking mental giant.
Hmm.
It's you feel just reading his book makes me feel as if I were to have a conversation with him, he would look at me like a dog. But he wouldn't because he's a great person. He's an amazing guy because he truly cares about his character. But when you learn about him, read his work, you're like, holy fuck, he is a mental just juggernaut, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you realize like, fuck, I don't know shit about anything,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, man. It's like it, bro. It's like I always like to use this because it's kind of funny. It's like, and I thought of this. It's like you climb a fucking really tall mountain, and you at the top of it, you're like, man, I'm a fucking man. Like it's fucking awesome. And then you look up and then you see somebody looking down at you like, what's up, bro? It just keeps going. You know what I'm saying? Like it keeps growing. Like, it goes back to that saying, you will never know enough. And like how you're talking about that dude, or like when you really dive into somebody who's really intelligent, you're like, oh shit, man, I really don't know that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And again, the analogy I'm using with the mountain is like you climbed and you put all this hard work. Is not to say that you did anything wrong. Like, and the experience you got and the feelings that you have, you should feel it. But then when you get to the point where you're like, man, I'm the fucking beast, I'm on top of this fucking mountain, and you look up and then you see somebody else who climbed even a taller mountain. Like, it's
dog.
the road is
So
never endless. The road is never endless to knowing anything because it's like, man, I mastered this. I'm a fucking master at this. And then you look over and you be like, really, bro? I already fucking built a spaceship right now. That's a cool car.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Well, I mean, that applies with everything, man. Like, okay, so it's all humility. It's all that is. It's all humility. But
Yeah.
to really give your aspect or perspective of that, like I was telling guys, I listened to that podcast of Jocko Willink when he fucking interviewed Sergeant Dakota Meyer.
Yeah.
And he was in Afghanistan the same time we were, man. The battle that he was in, that fucking that earned him the Medal of Honor was the same time we were fucking, throwing lead around in Southern Margin when we were out there, man. That was the same fucking time. But
Right.
anyway, when you think you're a badass dude, you're like, man, okay, yeah, I know I've gone through some shit. You know what I mean? And then you listen to a guy who was in battle, who, like, that motherfucker killed a motherfucking guy with he beat a man to death with a rock.
Right.
Literally, dog. Like that, he really went. He did, and on top of.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah. So this is the same. You're saying at the same time that we were there and
he
stuff.
was
Like,
doing this while we were there. He was in
oh,
Afghanistan the
okay,
same time
okay,
we
cool.
were.
Okay,
And
I thought this was like something that you're talking about a past war or something. Okay, cool. Yeah, keep going.
no, Sergeant Dakota Meyer he earned this battle. He was there at the same time we were, man. And
Yeah.
this is when same fucking time. And anyway, like what he went through, the amount, the guys that he lost, the brothers that he lost, and the motherfuckers that he smoked. Just when I think about our combat experiences, man, our deployments and like I haven't been through shit when you compare it to what that motherfucker went through, man. And you're just
Word.
you feel so humble when you read about people who have gone through these, but they're people, they're me and you people that just got put in these fucking certain situations and did amazing things, And when you learn about them, you just completely, for me, I felt so humble, and you feel like
Yes.
you're just like
Yes.
fuck, man, And then you think about your own problems. Like for me, man, like I have met in person a woman who was a sex slave of an Islamic terrorist group. Okay, literally
Mhm.
firsthand met a woman who was enslaved, a sex slave. Okay, and when you can look a person in the fucking eye who has been through the worst human conditions possible and has come out the other side of that and are doing things positive with their life,
Yes.
you look at your own bullshit problems and you feel like a fucking just I don't know. You feel so insignificant when you're around somebody who's gone through shit that is just unimaginable to you. You know what I mean? And it humbles you in ways that nothing else can. And that's why I love not only fucking learning about people, but trying to go out and meet people fucking that are different, that have gone through shit and really kind of, learning and gaining perspective and wisdom that they have, because it's humbling as fuck.
Yes.
It's just, and if you truly allow that to affect your life, man, that impacts your life. It impacts your family's life. It impacts your friend's life. I mean, it's crazy. You know what I mean? And then you realize
Very.
that. That's why it's their lessons, their experiences are being, have gone through me, to gone through you, to gone through whatever and that's how you that's how you learn. That's how you keep people's experiences alive and their memories and all that shit, and
Man, bro, and honestly, us talking about this right now this is another thing, man. Like when you said humbleness, right? That is so important to have, because it's like, again, everything's going right in your life. You performing well, you looking good, and you're fucking inspiring others, and everything and then you realize, like, one, somebody else has went through this, and whatever, and it humbles you down. Or you reflect and look at yourself when you go through just something bad, like it just throws you off track, like, you know what I'm saying? And then it really humbles you to be like, you know what? I'm bigger than nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm big, but I'm not in comparison to, I have no control or being bigger than, do you get what I'm trying to say, man? Like, you know what I'm saying?
oh yeah,
And that itself, like, honestly humbles me, bro. Or like you said, seeing somebody when you thought that you woke up with all these things going on in your life and the stressors, and then you like read about something, or you hear, or you meet somebody who's like going through these things, and then you like, wow, man, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a smack in the face, and you're like, wow, bro. It humbles you down. It lets you recollect yourself and be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I got this now, and vice versa. When everything's completely going good in your life, you can get humbled down when something just throws you off that track for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, man, I was just doing kind of like you, man. And I'm not trying to bring up, that mishaps that you had when you went on that trip, you know what I'm saying? And how you got arrested and all these things. Like, it was totally you were going for a great thing, and I know, like, I can only imagine what you could have been really dealing with, and being like, man, fuck, man, I'm doing everything right now. And then my intent of going out here was all for great reasons and stuff. And then why would this happen at all times and stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just wild to see, man. I know it had to have been devastating, man. It had to have been, just devastating, and like a wow factor, like, damn, God, or whatever, like, this was all in good intent for great reasons, and to do all these things that me, you, and Comer talked about and stuff. And like, now it just blows up my face like this. And even though, you got all on bail, like, and all these things, you was able to get out and stuff, but now you're dealing with some of the issues now. But it's like, you're like saying, man, like, what the fuck, man? Like, I was trying to do all these things, and then this had to happen to me, wow. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, because I didn't deal with a situation just like that, identical to that. But there's been many instances in my life where, again, I was just doing something totally right, and I had great intentions behind it, and all these things, man. It just didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out. You know what I'm saying? And that's like, fuck, man. It hurt. It's a hurtful feeling too, It's like, wow.
yeah, no, and when that happens, and that's why what happened when I got arrested was so significant for me, and really fucking put me on this path hardcore, because how absolutely devastated and just furious I was at that moment when they were arresting me. And like I said, dog, like, I was a half a heartbeat away from fucking up these two cops,
Yeah.
but it was that moment when I was just, I was talking to God, man, and I was just, I thought of Abigail, I thought of my daughter and my son and Sarah, and all I thought was, God's gonna, you got this, man. Okay, and I had to get, I just, I knew that everything that I wanted to do in that moment, all that anger and hate and frustration and devastation that I wanted to inflict onto these two cops, I just knew I couldn't, I had to let it go. I had to do
Right.
the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. And that was
Yes.
the only fucking reason that I believe that I got out of that situation and was able to continue on with that fucking trip, because of the way I handled getting arrested. And that was a reason right there. That's when I was like, God, universe, whatever, I'm fucking listening, man. I am fucking listening. You know what I mean? And because I did, I handled the way I handled that was the only fucking thing that let me out of there. You know what I mean? And that was what I believe, God, whatever the universe, whatever people want to fucking believe, was just, hey, do this and you'll fucking be fine. And it happened. And I believe that was just, like I said, God and the universe talking to me. You know what I mean? And
And
it
honestly,
was,
man, I don't even know how you, to be real, bro, man. Like I commend it just because after that happened, like I don't know because I wasn't in that situation, but to be able to still complete the trip, man. Like I don't know if I would have just felt like, and again, it does show like, okay, even though when the roadblocks come, you got to proceed, pick up that pack, keep fucking going and stuff. But hey, man, like that is like, I mean, I could, like, again, I can literally put myself there and imagine that because I'll be thinking like, man, now I got this and I'm facing, whatever charges and my family, but I'm still going to finish this fucking trip, man. And
on
again,
day one on Christmas Eve, on the
yes.
first day on Christmas Eve, and all that happened.
And that's on top of all the things that, went into like you not being with your family and all these things. Then this happens and then you can decide, man, you know what? Should I just call this shit like fucking done or should I just keep going? And honestly, through you just keep going out of the whole trip, I feel like that showed me the most, man. From bro to bro, like I really feel like your ability to take such a hard fucking blow and to keep going was the definition of that trip for me personally. It talks to people in different ways because, as we all know, different things speaks to different people in different ways. But out of everything, it spoke to me directly. And it was like, man, when you get hit with fucking blows, do not fucking quit the course. Continue to race. Keep going. Like, you know what I'm saying? Keep going on everything you feel and what you set out to do because, man, I wouldn't even blame you if you to stop it. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those things I'd be like, man, you suck. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, what, bro? I fucking feel you and word up. But out of everything, that's what it showed me, man. That's what that specific thing of you going to do that and helping others and realizing that it was actually helping me, the person that was supposed to be going and stuff, and to think, like I said, I thought about all that, excuse me, all of that, you missing out with your family, you being away from home, you traveling long hours and all these things. And for that to happen and you continue to fulfill the mission, you come back and just know, man, and I'm not just saying it to say it when not just you, but you specifically because I'm talking to you, but when I see things like that and I experience and, it's more driving me to be like, it doesn't matter about anything else besides what you put yourself or what you set out to do. Go ahead and finish it. Don't try, like finish it. Keep on complete, keep knocking shit down and jumping over the hurdles to keep going. And that's what it showed me for real, man. For real, it did.
Well, I appreciate that, man, and it means a lot because that was a really significant point in my life, man. That was a very significant fucking time for me, because
Yes.
it was just crazy because it was so at random and so like wasn't supposed to happen. I don't know, man. It just I don't know. I don't know. I wish I could explain it a lot better, other than it was supposed to happen and it was God and the universe just fucking making me do it because it was,
Right.
not making me do it, but
Yeah.
leading me to. You know what I mean? Because free will is everything. You have the free will to do or don't. You know what I mean? But I I I had to go there. I had to do that. You know what I mean? I was
Yes.
just, for whatever fucking reason, I just had to. You know what I mean? And like you said, man, almost every single thing that I did along that way was an obstacle. You know, I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
when we connected and we all flew out to where, I mean, I flew out to Denver to meet up with, I mean, and you guys were there, and the three of us were supposed to go, and then that fucking fell through, and then,
Yes.
you know, Sarah fucking, you know, she and I had some bullshit happen with the stipulations of the whole trip in general, like with her and the kids and the dogs, and that fucking happened, and then getting arrested and charged. I mean, all these things, and but for whatever fucking reason, man, I just had to do it. I just fucking had to. And like I said, it wasn't for me. It was not for me.
Yes. Yes.
I did not do that because I wanted to do it. You know, I did it because I believe I had to. And
Right.
there was people and conversations that I met and had along that trip that I completely 100% believe were supposed to happen. You know what I
Totally.
mean?
Totally.
And yeah, man, it's that's why I'm so convicted on doing this, man, with the podcast and reaching out and on social media now, dude,
Yes.
and it's happening. Like, you know, I mean, you start to see the like you know the fruits of your labor,
Yes.
when you really, truly, genuinely, and sincerely are doing the right thing for the right reasons, and when people see that, and
Man.
it's contagious, you know. So
Totally. Guys, I'm gonna have to jump off here in a minute, but I do want to leave what you were saying, DJ. What you just said means a lot. Now, when you say for whatever reason that was, I just said one of the reasons of one small seed. Now, I'm gonna really try to explain this and sum it up. Like with a seed, obviously, you planting a seed to just not even just like call us having a conversation before Denver, you know, and for you guys will know, like we've said in several stories, we met up in Denver. We had this idea. We want to go out and DJ said during the holidays, that would be the best time because we're sacrificing time with our families and all this other stuff. And we're going out there to do good and to bring inspiration and to talk to people and connect with veterans and non-veterans and all these things. But that seed alone, when you said you don't know the reason, and now you know one of them because I said it, it's crazy to think that with that one seed, it branches out and it grows to many different other like flowers, I would say. I'm a flower, guys. I'm a flower. But, you know, but really, you know, that right there can motivate another person to go through a trial or a tribulation in their life to overdo that because they seen something that sparked their mind to say, my buddy did it, or whatever the case may be. And then it kind of kept them on the path to progress, to keep growing, to do all these things. And next thing you know it, now they're looked at as one of these persons who brought a great impact, but it all started from what some would say was not very important. And it started from that seed. And not only was a seed planted to like help me overcome, along with the many other seeds I've learned in life, but to help me overcome the things I'm going through. But imagine all the other people, because me talking about this and having conversations about you, one of my buddies went over there and this shit happened to him. I can't believe it. Now that seed is in their mind. And I know you guys get what I'm saying. It just keeps spreading when you do good for the right reasons. You don't understand why. You don't understand why shit happens. But then that seed begins to grow, and not only grow, it spreads. The roots go. It fucking goes. It goes. It goes. And you can't stop it. You can't. This is the thing. You can't. A construction worker who sees a building, they have a tree and the tree's in the way. They knock that fucking tree down. They think they got completely rid of it, and they did in the visual sense of not seeing that tree there. But then to realize that seed still made other root, like it all goes and spreads, so it was never gone. And now new ideas are being formed and all these things, man. Again, to leave off with that is because it's so real and it's so true. And it's so just came in my face right now. You know what I'm saying? And that sounds kind of funny. I said it came in my feathers. What the fuck? No. No.
Damn it! I said something stupid.
But no, I hope you guys really laughed at that. But honestly, man, that seed really, bro. And just to imagine how the shit keeps going and us doing this podcast and us, you know, doing a Marco Polo and us staying in touch and us connecting. All it is just it's making us grow, man. And not only that, is hopefully inspiring other people to like at least not like again not agree with the things we're talking about, but just to open their ears and listen more about it and see and feel the changes happen in their life. Because I say this, anything that's going for the right reasons can't be fucking wrong. If it's for a positive intent, it's for the right reasons, we're doing it genuinely, it's going to be a good cause to come, out of it and stuff, man. So besides the cave in my face saying, I just had to say that, and I wanted like you guys to get a laugh up there and everything, but so real, DJ, man, and it's so true, man, and I only hope that we continue to do this, man. You know what I'm saying?
For show. I
Oh,
love it
sure.
when you get in your flow state, dog. That's your flow state that you were just in. I love it when you
Yeah,
say
yeah, and
that,
it's so real, even though that whole mind blown.
dog. That was funny though. That was funny.
And I called it too. I had to joke on myself. I love fucking myself, man. You can't
You have
if you
to.
can't fuck
You
with
have to
yourself, you
because
can't
if
do
someone
anything.
else catches it, you
Yeah,
can't fuck. But if you catch it, you're good. You're good. You can
exactly.
fucking put the fire out right away. You
Yeah,
can
it's
put the
all
fire out.
again, it's all about that swag and how you do this shit, man. We're fucking magicians, buddy, and aliens at the same time. It's fucking awesome.
Yes. Yes. It's
But yeah,
crazy.
bro, I'm gonna have to run, man. I'm gonna make this run real quick. It's always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure, and I always feel good after talking to you. Believe me, bro, it made my day, and I'm not just saying it really did. And to everybody out there, I hope you guys are having a fucking fantastical day, as I like to say. Fantastic day. And but yeah, bro, hey, love you, man. For real.
Love you back, brother. Have a good rest of the day.
No doubt, bro. Victory.
Victory.